Hey everyone, and welcome to the first week of 2016. It's common in the new year to talk about resolutions and ways to better yourself. And so I would like to take the opportunity to put my spin on the whole New Year's resolution concept and try to apply it a little bit to the subject of this channel being liberty and self-ownership and all the good stuff. Most of the time when we talk about liberty, it's about the relationship between the individual and the state. It's focused on what bad things the state is doing, what the state should do, what it shouldn't do, maybe it shouldn't even exist, things on those lines. The problem with focusing on those kind of subjects is that they are by and large outside of our control, our individual control. Any goals that we have for society will not happen in our lifetimes, unfortunately. They are goals that are going to happen most likely well outside of our lifetimes. And so that, if you focus on that too much, that can kind of rob you of your ability to live in the moment and improve your life, right now in the near future and for the rest of your life. So it is as important, or maybe even more important, to focus on making your life the best that it can be now than to focus on some unknown future that we may or may not get. And so with this in mind, I just want to give you 5 ways, 5 resolutions or habits that I've picked up along the way that have helped me out a lot, and I feel have given me a good amount of purpose, direction, and motivation and happiness. So let's get started. My first resolution is to get fit. Now, there are 2 pieces to this. First, obviously, this is a very common resolution, and it's even more common for that resolution to fail and for people to go to the gym for a couple weeks and then fall off and eat donuts for a week. So, but actually last year, January 2015, I weighed 230 pounds about. And right now I am at 180 pounds. And it took me about 6 months to lose that weight. And then obviously up until now I've kept it off. And so I've found 2 different tools that I feel are very useful and make the whole process doable and permanent. I guess as permanent as any individual's ability to stick with it. The first is the concept of if it fits your macros. It's also called flexible dieting. And I'll leave links to all this stuff below so that you can do your own research and find if it might be useful for you. But it's based on the idea that every individual, based on their height and weight and other factors, needs a certain amount of calories to maintain their body weight. And if you want to gain weight, then you shoot a little bit over that calorie count. And if you want to lose weight, then you shoot a little bit under. And over time, your weight will rise or fall because obviously we run on calories, and if you make it scientific enough, you can predict where your body's going to go. It also, to help you kind of have a balanced diet, it also encourages you to calculate your macronutrients, how much protein, fiber, and carbs you need every day. And obviously you need a bunch of micronutrients, but the macronutrients really help you kind of plan out and build your diet for yourself. The second tool that I found is, and obviously the second part of being healthy is physical fitness or weightlifting or kind of the activity part of living a healthy lifestyle. And I started out with a bro split where I split up every muscle group in my body, and then I hit it once a week. I'd go to the gym 3 days and then hit a couple body parts or muscle groups, and then every week I would just hit them once. And I found that this is, while it works, it's a little ineffective. So I found a plan that is based on big compound movements. And basically every time you go to the gym or you work out, it's a total body workout. So your whole body gets worked out several times a week, which I find to be much more effective and better for gaining strength and muscle if that's one of your goals. The name of the plan is Jason Blaha's 5x5 Ice Cream Fitness Program. That's a pretty sweet name. He also calls it his Novants program. And so it's designed for people that are not advanced lifters. They're just getting into it or, kind of starting from more of a Novants perspective. A caveat to getting healthy is that the welfare programs that the government uses to help people get health care or pay for their retirement, whether it's Social Security and stuff, those programs are not solvent, basically. And by the time that people my age and younger, or maybe even a little bit older than I am, want to retire, there will be no money for it. And these programs will pay a fraction of what they do now, if they even exist. And so taking care of your body now and your health can prevent or lessen the extent of any illnesses that you get naturally while you age. And to the extent that you can lower any of these illnesses that you might get, then that basically means that you'll have to spend less money on medical care to take care of yourself, because government programs likely will not be around when a lot of us are getting older and reaching ages where illnesses like heart disease or arthritis or anything else that you get when you're older, if you can put yourself on a path to avoid them now, you can avoid a lot of the costs associated with it, because basically the government is shitty at spending money and planning for the future, and we're probably not going to be able to rely on those. And we shouldn't, because you should be free human beings who can take care of yourself. Enough of that rant. Point number 2, associate with people that make you better. As the saying goes, we are who we hang out with. And I think it's a useful exercise to, I suppose, if you're not where you are in life and you're not on the trajectory that you want, perhaps it would be useful to take a look at the people around you and determine if anyone is directly hindering your path and where you want to go. And then consider maybe, obviously this is your own choice, but maybe lessening that friendship or ending it or whatever, because obviously we just have one life. And if we have goals and stuff we want to achieve, then why allow any barriers that don't need to be there between you and your goal? And maybe it's not even that you just need to cut people out. Maybe it's just you need to find people who can help you and who you can have kind of a reciprocal support system for achieving your goals. Number 3, study something that makes you more employable. And this means this means 2 things. It means that make yourself valuable to people who want to hire you, and make yourself more valuable to the people who you already work for. And so that way you can, if you want to make more money, you can go and apply for jobs at a higher skill level and take those so you can advance and reach the goals you want. Or you can use that new knowledge to have leverage to ask for a raise or a promotion at wherever you work right now. Odds are, wherever you work, there is something that you can study that make you better at what you're doing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to school. There are a lot of certifications that you can take for a lot of different jobs and industries. And even just self-study can do a lot for you, because you don't necessarily need to have a piece of paper that says you can do something to be able to do something. So start now, start studying something that will make you more skilled, more knowledgeable, and your earnings potential will rise as a result. Number 4 is, this one is more for your own personal development, not necessarily for money making, but maybe just to make yourself more cultured. But read books or listen to audiobooks. And that's actually what I do. I prefer to listen to books than to read them, because I'm kind of lazy and all that stuff. Because whether you like it or not, you are being forced to pay for the public libraries in your county, city, state. So why not use them? And they carry a lot of titles, not everything obviously, but there's a lot of classics, there's a lot of books on science and philosophy and culture and all sorts of interesting stuff. Last year I listened to a book by Stephen Hawking. I think it was A Short History of the Universe or something to that effect. And I don't remember all of it. I didn't understand all of it, but it was interesting. I learned a lot, and it was definitely worth it. And over the past 2 years, I've been doing this for 2 years now, I think, maybe a little longer. And over that time, I've listened to more books than I've read in the past 10 years. So even though listening to audiobooks is slower, just because I return to it over time and consistently, I go through more books than I did when I actually read them. Yeah, if at all possible, stay away from books about sparkly vampires. That's just a suggestion. And my final resolution, point, habit, life choice would be to save money. Start saving now. Odds are, no matter what you do, no matter how much you make, you should be able to adjust your budget accordingly so that you can save on a consistent basis. Like I said, for point number 1, or resolution number 1, get healthy now, because a lot of the societal support systems that are around now might not be there in the future for your health. Same goes for your retirement. I think I already said Social Security is it's swirling around the toilet now. It's not good. The government unfunded liabilities is estimated to be like 100 trillion. I don't know. It doesn't matter at that level. It doesn't matter exactly what the number is. All you need to know is that it's in the red. It's not going to be around. Start preparing now so that you don't have to suffer in the future because the government doesn't know how to plan. Last year, and I'm even semi-guilty of not saving for the future. I only started saving consistently money out of every paycheck last year, maybe a little bit before then. And this year, I'm actually going to bump that up a little bit so hopefully my savings grows a bit faster now. So do that. And unfortunately, obviously, we're all paying taxes right now for people who are retired, because Social Security doesn't work by you paying in your whole life and then you get money back based on how much you paid in. Before us, people were paying in to pay for the retirees now. We're paying in now for the retirees that are existing now. Even though they're the richest generation to ever walk the face of the earth, the government is funneling money out of the young and to the old, basically old rich generation. Now there are poor people, obviously, but on net, the generation that is like my grandparents are the richest that have ever walked the earth, and we're funding their retirement, and we're probably not going to get that from the next generation, as we shouldn't. Yeah, so that's it. Obviously, I think there's a lot more to be said about each one of these resolutions or habits, but it's already been going 16 minutes, so it's stretched a little much. In the future, I might dive into these topics a little bit more heavily, but for now, I think it's good enough just to, give some pointers in certain directions and arm you guys with the tools and the ideas that you can use, and go forth and do good things. All right, thanks for listening. See you later.